Okay, so before we looked at line equations, we looked at equations of the form y equals mx plus b. And we said this was the slope-intercept form of an equation, where m is the slope of a line and b is the y-intercept. So we looked at before, if we were given a point, say 1, 2, we'll say that's just p for our point, and we had slope m equal, say, 1/2, then to find the y-intercept, if we want to find a line with this slope that goes through this point, then we would take our point for y equals our slope m, 1/2, times this 1 for our x value, plus b. And then we would solve for b. So then we have 2 equals 1/2 plus b. So we're going to subtract 1/2 from each side, and we get b equals 3/2. So then our line equation is y equals 1/2 for our slope again, x plus 3/2. Okay, and that's the equation of our line. Now what I want to show you today is the point slope method of finding this equation. I've always liked it a little bit better. I think it's a little easier, but it's a little more to remember at the same time. This really isn't particularly hard. We just plug in a point and solve for b to find the y-intercept and rewrite the equation. But what we can do with the point slope method is if we have our point and our slope, then we can use this idea here. So we're going to say y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay? And what we have here is our x1 and y1. These represent this point here, right? This is our x1 value, this is our y1 value. And that's just to keep them separate, because what we're going to do is we're going to plug in this x and y value and our slope. And we're going to see it actually gives us the same equation. So then we have y, and we're going to subtract our value of 2 here equals 1/2 for our slope times x minus 1, because our x1 value was 1. So then we're just going to rewrite it into slope-intercept form, and we're going to see what happens. So we have y minus 2 equals 1/2 x minus 1/2. So then we're going to add 2 to both sides to get rid of that minus 2 we already had, equals 1/2 x minus 1/2 plus 2. But we want to make that 2 have a common denominator here, so this is going to be 4 over 2. So then we have 4/2 and a negative 1/2. So then what we wind up with is y equals 1/2 x plus 3/2. Okay, so it takes about the same amount of time for both of them, but what we have is here we have to take our equation and then we're going to plug in our values, solve for b, and then we come back and plug it into the equation again. Whereas here we start out with this form and then we plug in our point and our slope, and then we just reduce it down until we get this point slope equation, which is exactly y equals mx plus b. So in both of these we have slope m equals 1/2. It goes through the point 1, 2, and we have our y-intercept at 0, 3/2. So, like I said, I like this method a little bit better, but if it's just more to remember for you, if you really focus on this one here, this will get you there every time as well. And there's not that extra formula to remember here. Okay, so thanks for listening, and I hope to see you guys soon.